Hi guys, I'm the Nice Movie Guy, and today I'm reviewing Star Wars Rebels Season 3, the season finale, 0 Hour. After reviewing an entire season of Star Wars Rebels, we're here, the finale, this amazing episode that we've all been waiting for a very long time. This review will be a little longer than usual because I need to talk about this long episode that we had, and I need to talk a little bit about the season as a whole. So, longer review, just go with it. And before I go into my long review, I have to address one little thing. Yes, last week I went on a rant because I was disappointed by the episode. The thing is, with all these episodes, I get really passionate about this. I am extremely passionate about Star Wars, and when something lets me down, I'll definitely let it know. I'll get real passionate, I go into rants, and I just get really upset when something lets me down, like in the case of Twin Suns. I do have to admit, after seeing people's comments, seeing Rebels Week on that actually explained a little bit more about the actual fight, explaining the episode, and also rewatching Twin Suns because I binged the entire season before 0 Hour. I like Twin Suns a lot better than initially. It's still not one of my favorite episodes because ultimately the fight did let me down, and I think that they did mess up on the length of the fight. They should have done it a little bit longer, but I'm more okay with the shorter fight, and I still think that overall the episode is pretty good, so let's just forget about that. Let's now dive into this spoiler-filled review of the season finale, 0 Hour, because one full season we have been waiting for Thrawn to finally do something. To be fair, we've seen him do stuff here and there, but it's not like this. This is the Thrawn that we've been waiting for to finally find the Rebel base and attack Atollon and come in there with a fleet of Imperial Star Destroyers, interdictors, to make sure they can escape and just to destroy the rebellion right there. Now, the thing is, of course, Thrawn was not completely there. He gets there because Kallus actually fucks up because, yeah, that had to happen. You know that Thrawn knew about Kallus, that was set up. I think, as I said before in previous episodes, we've been waiting for the payoff. And when you do get the payoff in an episode like this, you finally see all the pieces connect. All the pieces of the previous episodes connect into one big puzzle that now is completed, and you finally see Thrawn's plan all along. And he attacks Atollon. When he attacks Atollon, a lot of shit goes down. People actually die. The rebellion barely survives it. They need help from all kinds of different sources at one point. Of course, Sabine and the Mandalorians come to help. The Bendu helps a little bit. Everyone helps to just get the rebels out of there, to just get away from Atollon, to save the rebellion, and get away from the Empire, and to make sure that at least they're away from Thrawn. Because that's one thing they can't do, and one thing they did very well in my opinion. They can't win. The rebellion can't win. Because their first big win was the Battle of Scarif. Which technically, after watching Rogue One, it's not that much of a win. But in the long game, it does count as kind of a win. But the thing is, they didn't win anything. They barely escaped with their fleet. And they had a lot of losses. And the Empire is still at large with a lot of Star Destroyers. Thrawn's still alive. Everyone... yeah, no, it was really dark, really dour, and the rebellion at the end is fucked. And that was good. I loved it. This episode was phenomenal. I absolutely loved everything in this episode. About everything. I mean, I do have a little small complaints that I'll get into later, but just let's get into the great stuff, because this is top 3 Rebels episodes of all time for me. I'm not sure yet if it takes over Twilight of the Apprentice, because the thing is, I've seen Twilight of the Apprentice like 20 times already, and I've had time to digest that episode to really fit that into a place that I'm like, okay, Twilight of the Apprentice is my all-time favorite Rebels episode. 0 Hour, I've now just seen it once. The full 44-minute episode once. I do have to see it again and again and again to finally decide where it officially ranks, but for now I'll say top 3 Rebels episodes for me. Because first of all, the cinematic scope of this episode was phenomenal. This is a movie. You can argue this is a movie, a very short movie of course, but you can qualify it as a feature-length thing because it does take over 40 minutes to complete. So yeah, if you are into that kind of crap, a feature-length film will have to take more than 40 minutes. Shorts are shorter than 40 minutes. So you could consider this in a movie, and I wouldn't blame you, because this was so cinematic. The battle above Adelon was phenomenal. Was by far the best space action we've seen in Rebels. This is up there with some of the space battles in Star Wars. And I mean, the cinematic scope of the movies already is amazing, but this was up there. This was like amazing. It was awesome to see all this. I absolutely loved it. It was amazing. Like, one of the things that they do in this episode is, just like in Rogue One, the Y-Wings attack a Star Destroyer with a kind of formation. It's the same kind of shot. It was just like Rogue One, and it's like, if you can match Rogue One in a cartoon show for kids, come on! That is why Rebels is fucking amazing. That is why I love this show, because they can match the original trilogy, Rogue One, just the movies in terms of quality, in terms of cinematic scope. Absolutely love that part. Oh my god, it was gut-wrenching when Sato decided to sacrifice himself. You saw it coming, but it was still, no, fuck. He sacrificed him, and you know he's going to go out. But he goes out in a heroic way, and I was so glad that they weren't afraid to kill someone off in the episode, because I was afraid at one point, oh, everyone is just going to survive, and no, 2 people died. The Bendu and Sato died. They're out. I mean, Bendu came on with the Force, of course. That's a different type, and he probably will come back in some way, shape, or form. We'll see about that. But Sato just died. He sacrificed himself, taking out Constantine's interdictor cruiser in the process. Amazing stuff. Great heroic death for Sato. Also taking out Constantine, who was just a little bitch. We were just waiting for him to die. He finally died, so that happened. For everyone is happy with that. And yeah, I got really sad. I teared up when Sato died. It was a gut punch, but still, good job. Very dark. Good job on the show to go dark, because I do like it when the show goes dark. Also, what I loved, all of the characters from the Ghost crew had something to do. All of them. It's not just that Hera was leading everyone. No, it's everyone that has something to do. Zeb and Rex are off to take out the Walkers at one point. Like, as I said, Hera, of course, is amazing because it's Hera. It's my favorite character, and she's awesome. So she's the rebel leader, and okay, we'll get into the negatives a little bit later, but whatever. No, but also Ezra had his time to shine to get Sabine. Sabine comes in, does cool shit with the Mandalorians. That was awesome to see. Kanan actually did something, like he went to the Bendu for help. The Bendu helped out. That was really cool to see. As I said, Sato had his moment to shine. Wedge and Hobby, you have them in there actually flying the A-Wings and being into the battle. It was just so cool that this episode was able to give everyone a little moment to shine, their own moment, to just have a little bit of a stand-up moment in the episode, so that you remember everyone doing something in this episode. That's something that I just really appreciate about this, because an issue often is that there are too many characters, too many cooks in the kitchen, and you can't do everything right. But this episode just balanced it out so perfectly. But none of the characters were as amazing as Grand Admiral Thrawn. As I have been saying for a while now, Grand Admiral Thrawn is a character who is making a puzzle. He's completing a puzzle, and every time he places a piece, and he adds a piece, and he adds a piece, until at the very end you get the payoff and it is completed, and then you get something like this. This was the Grand Admiral Thrawn that we've been waiting for this entire season. We have seen the pieces being placed already, and we have seen him do some things, like he killed the guy on Lothal, Mr. Sumar. That was already something that we see, okay, he can actually do some shit. This was the episode that he shined it. He did everything so right. It was perfect. Like, finding out the rebels on Adelon, attacking Adelons, was like, this is Thrawn! This is the Grand Admiral Thrawn that we've been waiting for. And I was so glad that he didn't die, because I was a little afraid at one point that he might have died, because the Bendu was there already using his mighty force powers, and I was like, well, this could be the end of Thrawn, but it wasn't. I was so glad that didn't happen. They carried it over to season 4, let Thrawn be even more of a menace then. That was amazing. Loved it. Thrawn, this is the Thrawn that we have been waiting for. Another character that I want to talk about is Dodonna, because Dodonna is really in this episode in Star Wars for the first time in a battle, because we've seen him like preview the battle in the original Star Wars, and he was in Rogue One. That was about it. We've never seen him in a battle. He was in the battle this time. He actually used some tactics, and it was really cool to see him in action because, like, he's a rebel general. He amounts to something, so he amounted to something in this episode. It was great to see that. Now, about the voice, it was a little weird that they didn't get, what's his name? Ian McKellen. It was a little weird that he didn't do the voice for this episode, because they got all the others. They got the one from Mothma, they got Whitaker for Saw, they even got James Earl Jones to voice Darth Vader in an animated kid show. It's a little weird that they didn't get the actor who played him in Rogue One. I'm okay with it though, because I thought the voice that they had was good. It was just from the moment he spoke, it's like, oh, it's not the actor that we saw in Rogue One. Little odd, but I'm okay with it. It was a good voice, so I was happy with that. And the last thing I will say, of course, I gasped and I just, out of joy when I heard Yavin. And it was a little bit of a surprise to me, because I was kind of expecting them to first go to Dantooine, because Dantooine has been set up in a previous episode, Secret Cargo, of course. We saw Dantooine there, and I was kind of expecting them to set up the rebel base there and then abandon that one, as has been said in the original Star Wars, and then go to Yavin. No, Yavin is mentioned at the end. Rex definitely says Yavin, and I was like, wow. Yavin already. That does mean we're very close to Rogue One now, and it just really makes me excited to see what they do in Season 4 and how that will tie into Rogue One and whatnot, because I think Season 4 will be the last season, and it's just a lot of excitement. I'll get into that in a little bit. Now look, if I talk about the good things about this episode, I could go on hours about talking about this episode, because it was a great, amazing, phenomenal episode in a lot of ways. There were a few minor issues that I do have to address. Really, keep in mind, these are very small issues. These are just things that I bring up for the sake of it. These are just a few things that didn't make me love it as much as Twilight of the Apprentice as of right now. Maybe on rewatch, because like Twilight of the Apprentice, it has a flaw for me, a big one. The helicopter blades, that was just stupid. So that's one thing that drags that episode down for me. Even though it's my favorite by far, because it has like some of the best moments. But the thing, like, a few minor issues. Yeah, let's just. It's a minor complaint, of course. It's a nitpick. I was kind of expecting, especially with Sato's death, that Hera would get promoted to general at the very end, and they didn't do that. That might happen in the next episode, like season 4, episode 1. It might happen then, but I was like, I want Hera to be a general already, and it didn't happen. It was just like a little small letdown for me, but I'm okay with it. You know, it's that I have my certain expectations. Sometimes they aren't met, and I'm like, okay, I'll accept it, you know. Still a little letdown, but whatever. Also, I was not a fan of Thrawn at the end. He's shooting with the Star Destroyers at the shield, like relentlessly shooting, and you know, if he had gone on for 2 more seconds, the shield would have been toast, and everyone on the base would have been toast. So I honestly wonder, why did you stop? You said they had enough, but no, not really. Like, their shield held, and really, what were you expecting to happen? I honestly don't know what happened there. It was a little odd, like, you stop. If you had kept going for like 5 more seconds, they would have been dead. But on the other hand, that would have killed Hera. That would have made me very sad, of course. So it didn't happen. I'm okay. It's minor nitpick, once again. Also, I thought it was odd that Thrawn would just shoot the cloud that the Bendu created. Was just like, really? That's how that works? Okay. Sure. At least make sure that Thrawn doesn't die, because if he hadn't done that, The lightning would probably have killed all the Imperial troops, including Thrawn, so it has a silver lining, but still was just a little convenient that he could just shoot the cloud and that killed the Bendu eventually. Right, whatever. And I already said, it was very good that they actually managed to kill off some of the characters. Sato, Bendu, they're dead. Still, in my opinion, not enough. I'm sorry, I thought this episode was going to go dark and kill off like a Callus or a Zeb. Those characters, you could have killed off. And they didn't, and I assume they have a plan for that. I hope that the characters are well used in the next season, otherwise you could have killed them off here. But I don't know what they have planned for season 4, of course. We'll see about that. It's just, all of these things that I mentioned, as I said, are minor, small things, but I have to bring them up because they're small complaints for me. Now, usually after I have done the good, the bad, I usually look forward, but in this case I want to look backward. I want to review this season real quick, because while season 3 had lower lows than other seasons, overall I thought it was amazing. I thought it was a really good season, very enjoyable. Some of my favorite episodes are in this season. My favorite moments in Star Wars were in this season. I just loved it, and I think that season 3 is my favorite season of all. I won't say best. I made the prediction that season 3 would be the best. I can't say that, and it's simply because of a few episodes, and I'm just going to mention the episodes. I absolutely hated the last battle, and I don't apologize for that. I hated that episode. I thought it was useless. And I don't really mind skipping that episode when I get to it. Like, I can watch most of it, but not last battle. Just didn't care for it. Same with Double Agent Droid. It was garbage. It was horrible. I don't need to see AP5 singing. Also don't need to see the Winkathu job again. Everything in that episode was complete filler. That is a complete filler episode that you could have just mentioned in one throwaway line in another episode. But no, they didn't. Whatever. Winkathu job was completely useless. Island Squadron was not a fan of it, but in the end, it did pay off, because Sato did die, and Thrawn still lives. Thrawn eventually did get Sato, so in the end, I'm more okay with it, but still, I was still not a big fan of the Iron Squadron episode. Other than that, I thought it was a really good season, really solid season. Loved most of it. And as I said, my favorite. I can say that's the best because of those episodes. I think if you look at what is the best season, it's probably season 1, because it just hasn't the lows of seasons 2 and 3. Like seasons 2 and 3 has some really bad episodes, and season 1 does not have that bad episode. So like, season 1 probably is the best, but it doesn't have the higher highs as season 2 and 3 have. Like, well, I love the season finale of season 1. It's not even in my top 5 favorite Rebels episodes, I believe, simply because I think seasons 2 and 3 have way better episodes than that. But let's look forward now, because looking forward, we have got this little convention, this little event coming up. I don't know if you heard about it. It's like in Orlando, Florida, 3 weeks from now, Star Wars Celebration, of course. Like, 3 weeks from now, Star Wars Celebration. We are going to get a lot of Rebels on that. There are a lot of panels of people there, probably just also like the Rebels panel. Besides that, there are also going to be people who voice characters in Rebels. Hera Syndulla herself, Vanessa Marshall, is there. I'm so happy with that. Can't wait to see that one. But also a lot of other characters, a lot of people that voice characters in Rebels will be there. We will see the season 4 trailer, I assume. Can't wait to see the season 4 trailer. I'll definitely do a reaction on that and definitely give my thoughts. I can't wait for season 4, especially after this episode. Yavin, Hera becoming a general, whatnot. I can't wait for it. As I said, my prediction is season 4 is the end, and the season finale, or the last couple of episodes, I think they will do multiple episodes, not just 2, but more than that. They have to do the Battle of Scarif from the Ghost perspective. That is something that I cannot wait for, because it's something that they've talked about. Do the Battle of Scarif as we saw it in Rogue One, but from the perspective of the people on the Ghost, because we know the Ghost is there. We saw them in Rogue One, so I cannot wait to see that play out and see how awesome Hera is, because still fucking love Hera. And besides that, I also, in the same week as Celebration, am supposed to be getting a certain book called Thrawn. Now, like the last time with Empire's End, the site says a certain date, and I'm not sure if they will stick to that. They may change the date, because that's what they did the last time, because last time I thought that I would get Empire's End at the beginning of February, and instead I got it at the end, and fucking hell. So I don't know if I get Thrawn the 11th of April. It said the last time I checked, and I checked it yesterday, the 11th of April, so I fucking hope that it's the 11th of April this time and not any time later, because I'm very much looking forward to the Thrawn novel based on what I've read in Heir to the Empire. Now, I do have to address that I read, or listened actually, I listened to the audiobook of Heir to the Empire, and I reviewed that. And I made the promise that I would also read or listen to and review the other two, Dark Force Rising and The Last Command. I didn't get to that yet. I started Dark Force Rising, but for reasons I really can't explain, I had no good reason not to continue that book yet, but I just didn't continue it yet. I don't know why, I just didn't get to it yet, and it's very unlikely that I'll get through both and review them both. I want to, but I'm not making any promises. But my Heir to the Empire review is up. If you want to see that, I'll put in a link that you can click in a bit. Yeah, other than that, that's all I can say about this episode. Love 0 Hour, love Season 3. Now I wonder, what do you think of it? Did you like the episode, or perhaps not so much? Did you like the season, or perhaps not so much? Please, whatever you think, let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you've liked my review and want to see more of my movie, trailer, and Star Wars reviews, click right here.